The following program is sponsored in part by Media Design Imaging, Creative House Studios, Coco Bakery, Margaret Wong and Associates, Asia Services in Action, Asia Plaza, and Li Hua Chinese Restaurant.
Did you know some Asian cultures respond negatively to white flowers because their color is associated with death?
Hello, I'm Henry Liu, Vice President of Organization Relations for OCA Cleveland. We are excited to present another episode of OCA Image TV, our outreach initiative to promote cultural diversity. Allow me to introduce our hosts, Tony Tai and Alice Lee. Thank you for being part of OCA Image TV. I'll let you guys take over from here.
Thanks, Henry. Hello, I'm Alexis Lee.
And I'm Tony Tai.
On this edition of OCA Image TV, we're going to focus on weddings, Asian American style. The rich diversity of Asian cultures, traditions, and religions makes for a wide variety of wedding customs. Let's take a look at some of the more notable traditions.
Most wedding ceremonies are centered around the idea of new beginnings. In Vietnam, the groom's family celebrates that idea by bringing areca nuts, betel leaves, and a pink lime paste based on a Vietnamese folktale called Drink Chau Cao. The gifts represent love and marriage and the beginning of a new bond between the two families. On the wedding morning, the groom's friends and family come along with him. They arrive at the bride's house bearing wine, tea, jewelry, fabric, food, and money.
In India, the groom traditionally rides to the bride's home on an elephant or a white horse. The animal is draped in red blankets that are covered with embroidery and pearls. Friends and family lead the groom to his destination because the groom traditionally covers his face with a veil of flowers for the ceremony.
Did you know that many traditional Japanese weddings are Shinto or Buddhist? In a Buddhist ceremony, 2 strings of beads are interwoven. It symbolizes the joining of 2 families into one. In Shinto ceremony, the natural spirit known as the kami are called upon to bless the couple. Japanese brides often choose to wear silk kimono embroidered with purple flowers. The Japanese people believe the color purple represents love.
And then there's Indonesia, where it's customary for the bride and groom to greet each guest personally before the reception festivities can begin. It's not uncommon for more than 1,000 guests to be invited to the reception. Let's hope the guests have a lot of patience. And coming up next, something old and something new. How one local couple is incorporating Asian traditions and American customs into their special day.
Did you know the engagement gifts for a Korean wedding can cost as much as $40,000?
On May 19th, we acknowledge World Hepatitis Day. 1 out of 12 people are diagnosed with the liver-attacking disease hepatitis B. This is prevalent in Asian and Pacific Islander immigrants and refugees. Hepatitis B can be transferred through unprotected sex, blood-to-blood exposure, tattoos or body piercings, and the most common way is from mother to child during pregnancy. Serious complications arise if untreated. Vaccinations are available and follow-up screenings are recommended. For more information, contact info@oahcoalition.org.
Did you know Filipino brides cannot try on their wedding dress until the moment of the wedding?
The OCA Cleveland chapter is a nonprofit, nonpartisan civil rights and educational organization which serves the growing Asian Pacific American community of Northeast Ohio. OCA Cleveland was founded in 1983, has a rich history of collaborating with other organizations and communities to promote ethnic awareness and cultural diversity. OCA Cleveland chapter is part of the National OCA, with over 84 chapters and affiliates within the United States. We are dedicated to promoting cultural heritage, active participation in civic and community affairs, securing justice and equal treatment and equal opportunity for all Americans of Asian Pacific descent. OCA Cleveland, embracing the hopes and aspirations of Asian Pacific Americans in the United States. For more information about OCA Cleveland chapter, please visit OCAGC.org.
Did you know? At Indian weddings, some people believe that certain colors worn by guests can bring bad luck to the wedding couple.
Asian American couples who want to honor the wedding traditions of their ancestors are creating unique ways to weave the old and the new. In Chinese weddings, the bride changes up to 10 dresses at the wedding receptions. In the Cambodian weddings, the bride changes dresses at the early stage before the wedding reception day. OCA Image TV host Melissa Son gets some hands-on experience.
Hi, I'm Vi Huan. We're here today with some lovely ladies wearing traditional Cambodian wedding outfits. Cambodian weddings can be a long and intricate affair, lasting from 3 days to a whole week. During the course of the wedding, it's not unusual for the bride to change into 10 different outfits. In fact, she can declare the color of her dress, and the guests will also wear that same color. Now let's meet some of our ladies. Wow, Melissa, you look gorgeous. So tell us, what's the significance of the pants outfit?
Well, this is called a kaban, and it came from a myth of a prince and princess. And the princess's father wanted to test the prince's ability and set assassins to him. The princess then overheard this, and they both switched outfits, and therefore they were saved. And that's why the bride wears a kaban.
Oh, what an interesting story. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next we have Nancy in her stunning dress.
Thank you.
So Nancy, tell us about the style of the wedding dress.
Well, on the bride and groom's wedding day, they would dress like royalty, like how they would do it on the royalty palace, in the royalty palace. Okay. And for example, this is what I would wear on the last day of the wedding, a Sunday.
Oh, wow, okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Finally, we have Rotana, who looks great.
Thank you.
So Rotana, tell us about the different stages of the wedding.
First would be the presentation of dowry. Second would be the tea ceremony. After would be the hair cutting ceremony. And finally would be the knot tying ceremony. And they will confirm their marriage with the sound of gong, joys of chairs, and showers of flowers.
Okay. Wow, so we've learned a lot about the Cambodian wedding today. And I've been very lucky to be able to interview these lovely ladies. Back to you, Alexis, in the studio.
Did you know there are 2 stages to a Persian marriage? The first is called Aqd, where the wedding contract is signed, and the second is Jasne Arusi, the wedding reception.
The Chinese have a wonderful ritual for doing the bride's hair. On her wedding day, a good luck woman comes over to give the bride important advice while putting her hair into a bun, which is the style worn by married women. What is a good luck woman, you may ask? A good luck woman is someone whose parents, spouse, and children are all living. Now, every bride wants to look her best on her wedding day. That's where a good hair and makeup stylist can be a great asset. Joining us now is bridal makeup expert Eunice Chow-Stevens with some tips for a radiant bride. Here we are in the makeup studio with Eunice Chow-Stevens to demonstrate for us some tips on our eyebrows, cheeks, and lips.
Let's start with fun.
Great. So Eunice, as we begin with demonstrating the eyebrows, what are some basic tips you would give to our viewers?
I think a really good way to start doing eyebrows is to sketching the eyebrows with a brow pencil, very lightly in short feathering strokes, such as this.
Okay. To give it more of a natural feel.
Yes. And to create a framework for your color application.
So I think what may be hard for some of our viewers at home is determining exactly what shade to go with when they're penciling in their eyebrows. So what would you recommend?
I think a good tip is to actually select a color that's a couple shades lighter than your natural hair color. So if you're a natural dark brunette, you would pick a color that's almost like a lighter to medium tone taupey color. Such as the color we're applying on Feng right now. Because if you pick a color that's too dark, almost as pitch black as her hair color, then the eyebrows will look too harsh.
Okay.
And eyebrows are so important, especially for a bridal portrait, because they provide a frame for your eyes.
And how do you know what type of a shape you should be penciling in?
A really good guideline is you can actually take a pencil or take your brush and measure if the corner of the eyes and the end of the eyebrows should align such as this. And in the inner corner, it should line up such as this as well. So that would be a good guideline. That way you won't go too long or too short.
I'll be writing those tips down later.
And now we can actually fill in with some color. And at this point, you would actually use a brush instead of pencil. Again, we're picking up a taupey color.
Now here, why are you using, instead of a pencil, a brush?
Because this way, the bristle can lay down the color really, really softly. So you almost get an airbrushed look. Again, we can check our work by doing this and doing this as well.
So are there steps that we can take to make sure our eyebrows don't fall off throughout the course of the day or the wedding or whatever special event we may have?
Brows don't tend to need much touch-up. A really good way, I would say, to really clean them up very nicely, keep them up every couple weeks or so, then you should be in good shape.
Okay.
Next, we're going to demonstrate some cheek application. And over here, the do's, I would say, don't be afraid to invest in a couple of different blushes, because I think most women just own one blush and they wear it for whatever occasion they're in. So over here, I'm going to start with a brownish shade to shade the cheekbones first in almost a diagonal way.
Now, I've heard that when you're applying your cheek coloring, it's helpful to actually smile so your cheeks show up a little better. Is that true?
I think it's helpful for some people so we can have our model smile for us. And for some people, it's easier for them to identify the highest point of the cheeks. But I don't find it absolutely necessary.
Now, I do want to go back to the coloring a little bit because, you know, within the Asian culture and, you know, a variety of other cultures, you get a lot of different skin tones.
Absolutely.
So how do we pick, you know, the various shades that are good for our own personal skin tones?
I think a good guideline is to pick any color that's got a little bit brown base in there that really complements many Asian skin tones, such as a color like this.
So none of the hot pinks is what you're saying?
The hot pink could be really pretty on the right person or with the right outfit.
Okay.
But we would actually use something like a brown tone color as a basic color, then dress it up with a brighter color.
Okay.
So we can actually see how a hot pink color works.
Wow.
As long as we apply sparingly, just on the apples of the cheek, instead of everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So that really gives you the blushing bride effect, huh?
Absolutely, it gives you a pop of color. So you can see this color is applied very focused, just on the high points. We can also go back to our brownish color and tie the two colors together.
So it looks like the key here is blending.
Blending is a big key.
Fantastic.
Next, we're moving on to Melissa, where we will be applying lips. And over here, I would say, let's do it in a reverse way. Most people will apply lip liner first, and over here we can actually apply lipstick first, then line the lips.
Can you share with us the secret as to why that's the way that we should do it?
Because I think when you line the lips first, as the day goes on and your lipstick wears off, you tend to leave an awful ring around your mouth. I'm sure we've all experienced that.
And we've all seen it?
Yes. And this way, your lipstick tends to wear off more evenly. I'm applying a neutral, again, brownish color on Melissa, starting with the bottom lip.
Now, I think you know what I'm going to ask, but for some reason, color is just a really big question mark for me. So could you tell us a little bit more about coloring for the lips as well?
For lips, I think the key is to find a color that flatters your skin tone, instead of going with the trendy colors.
Okay. I was just about to ask you that, because I think like magenta is the cool color right now, and
not everyone can pull that off, unfortunately.
I've tried, it hasn't worked.
Now we're ready for lip liner application.
Yeah, that, even though it's more of a brownish toned lip color, it really brings out her lips.
Yes, I think so too. And another tip for applying lip liner is not to attempt to draw a perfect line. I know most of us don't really have very steady hands. So again, feathering short strokes really work. And you can really bring out the dimension of the lips and make them really pouty this way.
So are there any do's and don'ts for makeup overall that you would like to share with our audience?
Since we're working on lips, I would say don't use a lip liner that's 3 shades too dark on your lips. Nor should you wear a lip liner that's the same color as your eyebrows. In the 80s, in the late 80s, a lot of people like to wear like a brow eye pencil as a lip liner, and they fill in with a really light color in the center. I think that look is just awful. Now we're going to top up with a little bit lip gloss, especially focused on the center of Melissa's lips.
Is that for shine?
Yes. And also that's to create more dimension.
So it seems like kind of the overall theme here is feathering, blending, and just kind of going with enhancing what you have.
Absolutely.
Not so much, yeah.
I think you got it like this.
Well, thank you, Eunice.
Thank you.
Once again, we're here with Eunice Chow-Stevens, professional makeup artist. Thank you so much once again for all these wonderful tips.
Thank you.
And actually earlier today, Eunice actually did a little mini makeover on me. So let's take a look.
Did you know a Persian wedding ceremony takes place in a decorated room with a spread on the floor called sofraya yacht?
Creative House Studios.
Did you know it would be best not to wear white or black to an Asian wedding because these colors symbolize death?
Welcome back to OCA Image TV, a program about Asian Pacific American cultural diversity in our community. On March 13, OCAGC kicked off a party for OCA Image TV at Liwa Chinese Restaurant with complimentary appetizer that filled the 60-plus people in attendance. The pilot show was presented on television and everyone enjoyed it. We would like to thank those who came on Liwa for their support and donation. On March 22nd at Playhouse Square's Allen Theater, the International Services Center held their annual Folk Festival. Participants experienced many performances from different cultures, including Asia, Africa, and Europe. The Folk Festival was a great way to promote cultural diversity and ethnic groups. The Asian Pacific American Federation will be having their annual Heritage Day event in May. It will be a 2-day event which will include a presentation at Cleveland City Hall on May 7th with a keynote speaker, and then on May 9th with cultural performances and exhibition at another location. More information will be available at OCAGC.org when it becomes available. The International Community Council will kick off its 2009 series entitled There Are No Strangers on May 28th, starting with Slovenia, and June 16th featuring China. This is a new series of lunches for 2009 held at the Western Reserve Historical Society. Each program will provide insights into one of the many countries of the world that are represented by the people living here in Northeast Ohio. Presenters will provide some of the past history and current conditions in their countries, as well as reflect on their arts and cultures. The Western Reserve Historical Society will have appropriate exhibit materials from its archives of our ethnic communities. On Monday, March 30th, 2009, the City Club of Cleveland held a forum called Understanding Indonesia. The guest speaker was Mr. John Jing, the current Director of Operations for the UNRWA, the United Nations Refugees and Works Agency in Gaza. The UNRWA runs by far the largest aid operation in Gaza, providing food only to around 80% of the population and educating 2,000 children, as well as operating health and social services and microfinance projects. To learn more about Asian wedding planning or any other variety of topics, the Cuyahoga County Public Library contains a wealth of books available for your reading pleasure. We suggest you to check out some of these books.
Did you know, in Cantonese traditions, the groom must visit the bride's house where he will be greeted by the bridesmaids. His job then is to convince them why he is worthy to marry the bride.
Did you know that Cleveland is home to a very talented Taiko drumming unit? Joining us now is Japanese American Citizens League's Icho Taiko, Mame Taiko drummers, fresh from a training session with the world-famous Taiko Project, who recently performed at the Academy Awards presentation.
Wow, that was a fantastic performance. Really hard jumping. Now we have here with us Aria, one of the group's leaders. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
When was the group formed?
The group was formed in 2003 down in Oberlin, but now we're based in Cleveland.
What kind of emotion do you want to express to the audience?
Taiko drumming is very dramatic, as you just heard, so we want to try and recreate that sense of drama for every single audience member that listens to us.
What kind of symbols do these drums represent?
The drums are based on ceremonial drums in Japan, which were used to create military beats. But back in the 1950s, these drums were used to recreate different drumming orchestras. So that's what you heard today. Different drumming sounds and different drumming rhythms.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Please continue to support our efforts. This is our community, and this is our voice. The show can also be found online at OCAGC.org.
We're going to leave you now with another performance by JACL's Icho Daiko Mame Daiko drummers. Thank you for watching. I'm Tony Tai.
And I'm Alexis Lee.
See you next time.
Did you know, in Cantonese traditions, if the bride's older brother is not yet married, his pants will be hung above the door frame to symbolize the leaving of his younger sister. Did you know, many Chinese families will hand-deliver wedding invitations to close family and friends, along with a box of baked goods.
The following program is sponsored in part by Media Design Imaging, Creative House Studios, Coco Bakery, Margaret Wong and Associates, Asia Services in Action, Asia Plaza, and Li Hua Chinese Restaurant.